Welcome to episode 1 of the top 5 standalone specials. There are 4 episodes to download. The top 5 has run its course in the main podcast. We're trying something new. In the meantime, catch up on all the fabulous conversations me and Matt have had in the last 6 months or so. Enjoy.
I'm going to present my top 5 films I wish to see remade.
Ooh.
All of these will come as a complete surprise to Chris.
Yes, I can guarantee that is absolutely the truth.
So his reaction will be his true and unedited and then edited reaction. Okay, right. Are you ready, Chris? For the top 5 films that I want to see remade? Because remakes are a tricky subject, aren't they? Because a lot of people hold films dear in their heart and say, this should not be remade.
That's always the biggest problem.
I don't think Total Recall or RoboCop should have been remade. They were. So here are my suggestions for remakes I think would work in this day and age.
Mm-hmm. Hit me with it. I'm here for it, Matthew.
Number 5. I'm going to give you a little bit of reasoning behind it as well. Okay?
Yeah.
Flash Gordon.
Good.
I loved Flash Gordon as a child. I've watched it again recently, and it holds up in one respect, but not in some others. Like, the look and feel of the film are amazing. Effects of the film are horrible, and there are lots of effect scenes in this film. Plus, I was a massive fan of the black and white Flash Gordon serial. The thing is, when I think about this, it makes me feel like I grew up in the 1940s, but I used to watch the black and white serials on TV. I'd watch Zorro, I'd watch Rocket Man, I
love Rocket Man.
Rocket Man was amazing. Every week, it would appear that he'd blown up in some horrible fashion, only to next week to be go, oh no, he just stepped to one side or whatever. So I love those films, not films, those series, and they must have been running for like 50 years before put them on television. But I watched them anyway. So I think Flash Gordon with a sympathetic remake with the kitsch vibe would work amazingly well.
Well, I know who you'd cast.
Oh, who'd be Flash Gordon?
Oh, Chris Pratt, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that too bang on the nose, is it?
It's too bang on the nose of Star-Lord, because Star-Lord's basically Flash Gordon.
Yeah. Well, they reference it, don't they, in Infinity War?
It would be hard to not cast Chris Pratt, but I don't think you could. So who could be cast in his steed? I know. Who saves everything?
Oh, friggin' hell. Yes, The Rock.
The Rock! The Rock could be Flash Gordon.
Yeah, that would work.
American football, because he's done the American football TV series.
Yes, Ballers.
Oh, great series.
That's a very good shout.
So there you go, The Rock as Flash Gordon. I expect my check in the post, film producers.
I love that idea. So that's number 5. Is that so? What's number 4? Hit me with number 4, because I'm impressed so far.
Number 4. In this political eco-climate that we live in, They Live. Rowdy Roddy McDowell, They Live was brilliant, and is John Carpenter film. It's watchable today. It is no by any means aged, and the only reason I want this remade is that I feel more people should watch this film. So for this particular film, I want a Nikita Psycho kind of remake where they basically just do it scene for fucking scene, don't change a thing. I just want a new audience to see this film, because in terms of a commentary on consumerism and brainwashing with a little subtext of an alien plot, this film's amazing, and every time I see it on, I watch it.
I've never seen it.
Oh my god. Have you seriously not seen it?
No, I've not seen it.
I'm going to buy it for you. And I'm going to walk over your house and make you watch it whilst I stare at the side of you. You know when you do that film, when you have a film that you like and you watch it with someone and you go, oh, you should watch this film. And you're not looking at the film, you're just staring at them and waiting for their reaction.
Yes.
And especially when it comes to the bit, you're like, oh, here comes the bit. And you even tell them, the bit's coming up. And
when they're on their phone.
Yeah. What? Sorry now. And you're like, the bit's coming up. Look at this bit. Yeah. I want that to be remade, not because it's a bad film, because it's a brilliant film. I just want that to be remade almost so that it's a bad film, so that people go, "Oh God, I'm going to watch the original again." I want that to be badly remade. Is what I want that to be made.
Well, we could do it then on the podcast. Would you?
Who could be the Roddy McDowell character? We need someone.
Hulk Hogan.
I don't think. Oh, here we go. We can finish. Dave Bautista from a wrestler. He's got some.
What about Chris Pratt?
Chris Pratt would also be very good.
It would work. That's a controversial one, Matthew. So what's number 3?
Number 3, probably less controversial and maybe a little bit fluffy. Golden Compass. I read the Pullman books and they are really good. The film was let down horribly by the actors. Sorry, and the child actors. Child actors can make or break a film, and in this case, they kind of broke it. This is the first book in a trilogy of films, so this needs to be remade simply so they can make the other ones. Because the books are brilliant and are cinematographic. in their construction. So yes, I would very, very much like, and I know it's not even that old, I'd very much like to see Golden Compass.
The problem with the Golden Compass is it was that kind of, for me, what it felt like is that we'd had Lord of the Rings and we'd had The Lion, Witch and the Wardrobe, which was very creature heavy film.
Yep.
With kids and animals and whatnot, so it was ripe for like this. Like
it came at a time of like these weird Christmas big event children films.
And Ian McKellen cast as a massive polar bear. I mean, it's just like, come on, you can do better than that. Well, I'm a
to be honest, the polar bear was one of the better things about it. And Sam Thingybob that we mentioned previously in the other podcast, whose voice could sell. Sam Sumsman.
Yeah. Well, the Ian McKellen thing is, it reminds me of that scene in Extras where he talks to Ricky Gervais about acting. He says, well, when you're acting, you just say, I pretend I am a polar bear. I simply am that polar bear. You see, I turn it on. And then when I'm not a polar bear, I am me. See?
It's a very good impression. Thank you, Chris. Number 3.
Good shout for that. Good shout.
Number 2 might be impossible.
Oh, no. Why?
It's the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. It's,
I mean, there is a, and I was meant to watch this on YouTube. I sent you the link. I found the link to a full version. Someone found the original Fantastic Four film that was never fully released and put it online. And I watched the first 5 minutes and it was already better than Fantastic Four films that had already come, because it was comic book reliant. So for anyone that's not out there in the world of comic book films, Fantastic Four recently has been made.
Josh Trank directed it.
But it's been remade twice in quite quick succession. So you had Ewan Griffith, whatever his name is, Jessica Alba, Michael Chiklis from The Shield. It had a good cast. And Chris Pine as the Torch.
Not Chris Pine.
Chris Pratt?
Nope.
Which one is it?
Not Chris Pratt, not Chris Hemsworth, not Chris Pine, but Chris Evans.
Chris Evans.
All the Chris's.
So yeah, Captain America. Captain America's in as the Human Torch, which is confusing to a lot of people.
And he was good.
Nothing was good about those films. Nothing.
No.
Nothing, Chris. And then they remade it recently. The Drummond guy and
Michael B. Jordan,
Warbringer was in it. Pretty much all of them have gone off to be in other Marvel films, which is kind of weird. The first family of Marvel needs a decent film, and I think now that the barriers have been broken down between Fox, they could do it. They could make a decent film, even if they weren't on their own. They could make a film where they were like Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four.
Part of an ensemble.
Yeah, because it's a good character. It's a good story. And weirdly, out of all of the films that Marvel have made, it's got the most kind of believable of backstories in the same way that Spider-Man's believable.
In terms of an origin story, yeah, but I just don't think we could
the hardest sell, obviously,
take another origin story.
No, and that's the hard sell in this one.
These guys have got to exist already in the world, and we have to just be plopped into the movie.
We can't do it, Chris.
Why?
Put it to the Marvel Universe, it'd be like, why has no one mentioned these fuckers before? Do you know what I mean? If we suddenly threw them into the
I see what you mean. It wouldn't work.
Thanos-based universe.
This isn't going to happen, I can tell you now, regardless of who the rights belong to and who owns it and what could be done. I just think this film is just not interesting enough to be done. Sorry. If I gave you money, if I was here writing a check, I could go with the other ones. You give me a good enough reason for this one. I just don't think you'll make your money back on it, because already the guns would be out for this. The knives would be out, for this film already. You even say they're looking at casting. There's writers involved for a Fantastic Four. People are like, no,
writers involved. Ian McKellen's there.
You see, there's writers involved. You see, when you write, just pretend to be the Thing. You see, the Thing is like a man made of rocks, and you just pretend to be a man made of rocks, you see. And then you stop being a man made of rocks. You see, it's quite easy. It's quite simple. This is the worst rehearsed segment we've ever done, isn't it? We're too far into the wine.
My wine.
But apologies for that. But no, sorry, mate. It's not going to happen.
Okay.
But I applaud your tenacity for it. That makes sense.
That's why it's number 2.
Mm-hmm.
My number 1 remake.
I'm here for it.
It's a series of films rather than a film itself. Carry On films.
I did not see that coming.
I didn't think you would do. I wish to remake the Carry On films. During the Christmas break, I was sat at my parents' table, pretending to enjoy myself. They had the complete collection of the Carry On films that was free on the Daily Mail at one point. So the DVDs were in little paper cases.
Oh, I love those.
And I'm like, oh, wow, you got all of the Carry On films. And the thing is, right, the Carry On films were brilliant.
In terms of our listeners, because I think you can probably say that people have mostly heard of your other 5 suggestions. You have 4 suggestions.
Yes.
Carry On films is just so quintessentially.
But I think everyone's heard of them or seen one of them.
Well, people are in Alabama.
But the thing is, no. People of an age. That's the thing, and this is the thing, and this is why I thought this is the perfect thing to be made. Of an age. We're of that age where we grew up with a Sunday afternoon Carry On film. It was pretty much, and they were hilarious. But the problem with them is they were hilarious because they were hilarious, and they were horribly racist, homophobic, sexist, and all sorts. So they had great jokes and setups and various slapstick, but intrinsically amongst all those other things were horrible prejudices.
I don't think they were they?
Yeah, they had blackface. I mean, sexism was rampant. I mean, one of the famous ones is Carry On Camping, where you have Sid James, who was like 70 in this fucking film, chasing a schoolgirl around.
Oh, yeah. No, they don't. I guess if you have to look back at them and we look back at them with rose-tinted goggles. Yeah, I think you're right. I didn't realise it was that bad, but I don't remember any sort of quite. I guess they're inherently racist, because it's the 70s. And
yeah, you got like blackface and stuff, and it was stuff that it wasn't deemed racist at the time. Doesn't make it not racist, but
no,
and sexist and stuff. But the thing is, the reason I thought of these films is there is a market for funny films. B, there is so many brilliant English comedic actors around at the moment. Can you imagine a Carry On film written by Joe Cornish and Edgar Wright, starring Steve Coogan, Russell Brand, Greg Davies as the big guy, Jack D. I mean, the amount of brilliant comedic English actors out there that would fill these roles, and then you wouldn't need to worry about like the female side of the sex thing. You got like Jessica Napper. You got so many brilliant Shappy Khorsandi is just brilliant, amazing female actors that could live on a par with these other, and it would be brilliant. It would be absolutely brilliant.
Do you remember the one that they did reboot it at one point back in like the late 90s? Yeah, with had Julian Clary was in it.
He's good. I like Julian Clary.
There was a 90s or early noughties version of it. You need to probably check that out. There were people they've tried to do this already.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, but you probably
I should have maybe done my research.
no, but it would have one that maybe have slipped completely under your radar because it was a one-off, and I think they probably wanted it to have legs, but it just didn't gel. But there's no reason why we can't have a more current. Yeah, definitely. There's always room to use, as you say, the great comedic actors, and a lot of them, as you say, a good start in stand-up, and then they end up on screen. So who's that guy who does "Would I Lie to You" and "Not Going Out"? Who's that actor, stroke comedian?
Lee
Mack. Lee Mack, and then you've got Richard. You've got Ramesh Ranganathan. He's now acting.
Yep, he's doing that. Inadvertent Landlord. What is it called?
Yeah. And he started off as
that's very funny.
Purely stand-up. So yeah, it's funny how stand-up comedians now are acting.
It's like Jessica Knappett, who's doing like the tour and stuff of everywhere, like doing all the panel shows and stuff. She obviously started on the In-Betweeners movie as a comedic actress.
Yeah.
And I imagine she probably was stand-up before, I guess. It's hard to tell. But yeah.
Flanagan would be brilliant in it. And so would the other Lee.
Evans?
Lee Evans.
Yeah. Yeah. You see what I mean? There's scope there. So that's the films I would like to see. And of the Carry On films, I think Carry On Camping, because it has that. I mean, camping is intrinsically funny because it's stupid.
What you could do as well is combine it with the other great British tradition, which is music festivals. So you could have Carry On a music festival, and then you've got loads of scope for younger British comedians as well to mingle in. There you go. Write that down. Yeah. Take that to the bank.
If that fucking happens now after this, we should sue people.
It's recorded. It's fine.
Yeah.
I like those.
Have we put it in the public domain? Is it now no longer ours?
I don't know. I don't know how that shit works.
Contact us if you want to.
I like that. I like that segment. That was good. Can you challenge me to the same sort of thing, but give me an idea?
Yes, I can do. I want to challenge you to 5.
Top 5 what?
Oh, this is going to be a challenge for you. Top 5 sports to be made into a film.
Okay, I can do that. From a non-sporty person.
From a non-sporty person. The top 5 sports that you want to see made.
Yeah.
Or like sporting events, sporting history, sporting occasions, sporting moments. Anything.
I've already got one straight away, but I'm going to say
straight away. Don't tell it now because then
I've got one straight away, which is going to be hilarious.
So there you go. Top 5 sporting.
Top 5 sporting movies.
Sporting things.
Sporting movies.
Sporting movies you want to see made.
That haven't been made before.
Yeah, clearly. So you can't say, I want to see... you can't say, I want to see a story about a young pugilist in Philadelphia that makes it all the way to the top despite his speech impediment. That's not acceptable.
What's that one?
Rocky, you fucking prick.
Rocky. I was going to say, what are you talking about? Some baseball film or something? I don't know. I'm hopeless at sports films. But yeah, that's a
pugilist.
What's that mean?
Boxer.
Okay.
This is so self-indulgent. It's unbelievable.
If we were to draw a graph of my process, of my method, something like this. Sir Ian, action. Wizard, you shall not pass! Cut! Sir Ian.
So, you gave me a challenge.
I did. So, I did the top 5 films I want to see as a remake, and then you said, challenge me to a challenge, Matthew.
Yeah.
I challenge you to this challenge. I challenge you to name 5 sports that you'd like to see made into a movie.
Yeah.
And then some deal around it.
Yeah. So with me, okay, sports ain't my thing, okay? So I struggled with this. I struggled thinking, like, what could I do? And I thought, I don't just not like sports, but I don't know anything about sports.
Oh, right.
So, but then I do know things that are mildly sporty.
Ooh.
So I think I've got some good stuff for you.
Okay.
But not only have I got sporty films, but I've got pretty much the whole plot and characters outlined as well.
Fuck me.
And you need to get involved with this and help me as well.
Right, so then we need to do the disclaimer on that. Like, if anyone takes any of these ideas and makes them into a multi-million-dollar film, then we need some kickbacks. At least a T-shirt.
Absolutely. Yeah. So film number 1.
Shall we 5?
Film number 5.
Film number 5.
I'm going down from number 5 to 1. Okay.
In at 5.
And at 5 is Highland Games.
Ooh.
The Highland Games are noted for their unique sporting and athletic events, many of which involve throwing and lifting. These include the shot put, tug of war, caber toss, and hammer throw, collectively known as heavy events. Okay, so if you didn't know what Highland Games are, there you go.
I think the caber toss is the
famous
quintessential
one, which
Highland
is the big
game.
long.
And it just goes.
Yeah, so it's a tree trunk essentially.
Yeah.
So this is the premise of the film, or the plot synopsis. A group of misfit carpenters enter the Highland Games in order to save their cherished local whiskey distillery from the onslaught of a corporate gin conglomerate.
Wow.
All they need is a veteran caber tosser, Scotty McTavish, played by Dwayne Johnson,
Not all racist.
to whip them into shape.
Yes.
Okay?
Wow. I mean, like, The Rock can say everything, but
Exactly.
I don't know if The Rock could do Scotty McTavish.
But I think he could. It would be it would be ironic. Ironic. Okay, so that's film number 5.
I would watch that.
It sounds good, doesn't
Yeah.
it? The Rock in a kilt. Okay, so the next one, film number 4, is
In at 4.
curling. Now, curling is a sport
You're going with the cold sports, aren't you?
Yeah. Curling is a sport in which players slide stones on a sheet of ice towards a target area, which is segmented into 4 concentric circles. It is related to bowls, and shuffleboard.
Shuffleboard.
Yeah. The plot synopsis, okay? It's
Right.
a group of misfit cleaners enter curling...
Hold on.
No,
Why are these always misfits?
Hear me out. A group of misfit cleaners enter a curling tournament in Las Vegas in order to save their cherished local pub from the onslaught of a corporate gastropub chain.
I know what this is going to be.
All they need is veteran curler Ice Ickle, played by Jerry Butler, to whip them into shape.
Oh man, I thought it was just going to be The Rock again.
No, The Rock. I'm trying to
Every
vary it
single
up.
one.
So does that?
Who's going to be Jerry Butler? Surely! Ow, fuck!
No, Gerard Butler plays Ice Ickle.
Ice Ickle, yeah. Wouldn't he be better in the Scotland one?
Well, no, exactly. But I thought, no.
Let's get him out of his comfort zone.
So
Plenty of water about as well in case he gets a bit thirsty.
Yeah, that's got legs, I think you'll find.
Yeah, alright.
Film number 3. Cheese rolling.
Wow.
The Coopers Hill Cheese Rolling and Wake is an annual event held on the spring bank holiday at Coopers Hill near Gloucester in England. It is traditionally held by and for the people who live in the local village of Brockworth.
They chuck the cheese. I've seen this. They luzz it down the road and it goes miles.
But now people from all over the world take part, which I think is the key thing.
It's serious now.
So here is the plot synopsis. A group of misfit delicatessen employees enter a Las Vegas cheese rolling tournament in order to save their cherished local cheese shop from the onslaught of a corporate supermarket chain. All they need is veteran cheese roller Wensley Dale, played by Ian McKellen, to whip them into shape.
Go on, do it.
So, what you must do is become one with the cheese, you see. I have become simply cheese and I roll, you see. So, yes. Now, that's got legs. That's going to go down. So, what are we on now? Film number 2. Now,
How can it get better than cheese?
I ran out of a little bit of steam here.
Okay.
So I need you to help me with this one. But this is the premise, okay? It's race walking. Race walking, or race walking, is a long-distance discipline within the sport of athletics. Although it is a foot race, it is different from running in that one foot must appear to be in contact with the ground at all times.
And they judge this like a motherfucker.
Yes,
They're
this
like
is assessed by
hawks on them.
race judges.
Yes. I've seen
Now,
these.
it would be easy to
People
say
are
that
disqualified.
it would be easier to say that the premise of the film would be like a group of misfit, dog walkers enter a Las Vegas race walking tournament and
to
all
save the pampered pooches.
Yeah. Okay, so I ran out of steam. I thought maybe I'm taking this premise a little bit too far, but I thought who could be cast as the veteran race walker in this film?
Veteran.
Someone from our maybe back catalogue of movies.
Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg it is then. But yeah, so yeah, that would be good. So film number 1.
In at 1
is the Venky's Chicken.
Wow.
So I've not gone with a sporting event, I've gone with a sporting incident, because you said it could be Chariots of Fire wasn't necessarily about athletics, it was about somebody winning that race.
Yeah, gotcha.
So the Venky's Chicken. There was a serious case of foul play, sorry about the pun there, during Blackburn's meeting with Wigan in May 2012 when a chicken strode on the pitch wearing a tiny chicken-sized cape. The little clucker was released as a protest to Rovers owners, Venky's.
Yes, they're the chicken people.
The Indian chicken processing magnates.
Yes.
The same thing happened again a few months later during a match with Burnley. The chicken, it would be an animation, okay? And the chicken would be voiced by Ryan Reynolds.
That's gold.
Yeah.
That'll sell.
Yeah, it's a little chicken with a cape, voiced by Ryan Reynolds, doing a pitch invasion.
Yeah, twice.
That's all you need.
I'm happy with that. I think the one I would want to watch is number 5, unfortunately, which is weird.
The first one?
You thought that was worse.
The Highland Games.
The Highland Games of the Rock.
Well, I think they're all brilliant.
They're all brilliant. I mean, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong, Chris. I'm not saying they're not all brilliant, but if all of those films cost £20 million each to make, and I was sat here with £20 million, it's like you'd have to put a gun to it, obviously.
Yes.
You've got to finance just one of these films.
Yes.
I'd go, right, get the Rock on the blower.
Get the Rock. Yes, I think he would be up for it. But I think maybe the one we could make probably most easiest would be the cheese rolling one, because
cheese roller.
It's local, ish, and there's cheese around.
Ian McKellen just loves a bit of cheese.
I love cheese for sure. So yes, I hope you enjoyed it. And I know I need to now bat something back at you for the next episode, but I was thinking on the way in the car to your very manner here about what I could choose, and I couldn't think of anything. So if we stick to the top 5? So I was thinking though we could choose top 5 TV serials or programs that could be made into film versions,
right,
or filmed up, if you like.
Filmed up. And at least one of them has to have The Rock in it, right?
It's optional, but yes, absolutely.
Is it optional?
No, I don't think it's not optional.
It's not. Not if you want to make bank in the cinema.
No.
Put fucking Rock in it.
You need to get on that.
I'll get on it. Challenge accepted.
I don't know about you, but I'm thirsty as fuck.
So I challenged you to a top 5.
You did. And I had to think long and hard about this one, Chris. It was a tricky one you posed me. Tricky one. So I had to do the top 5 TV programs that I wanted to see made into a film. So this was interesting to me because a lot of TV we watch these days, in good TV, is so high quality values and stuff these days. They actually would gain nothing from being converted into cinema. Because, the production values, the quality of the actors, the budgets for TV shit these days is huge.
Yeah.
Like Game of Thrones, True Detective, they've all got multi-million-pound budgets and stuff. So it's not something. And also, a lot of them are almost derivative of films that have been made, but they've just expanded on them and made them bigger and better. You can say a True Detective is from 7, Game of Thrones is from Aragon.
Lord of the Rings.
So it was tricky. So then I had to sort of go back and actually that's a clue to my first one. We need to go back, Chris. We need to go back.
Oh,
yes.
I know this.
So yes, my first TV series that I want to see made into a film is Lost.
No way.
Yes, Lost. The reason for this is, Chris, I loved Lost. It was the first big TV event that I was involved in, I think. There was, people before would watch TV, people before me would watch TV and I would watch TV, and there would be things that you'd watch, things that'd be on, but there wasn't any real sort of event, no sort of, for me, there was no like, oh my God, I need to watch next week's. And Lost was that. The first 2 series of Lost had me hooked. And I watched the rest just out of sheer desire for it to be good. But through various reasons, the shrinking and growing of the seasons, the writer strikes, etc.,
It got lost.
It got lost, and it turned I was physically angry at the last season and the last episode. I felt cheated and hurt. So I think if they made this into a film, like a 2-hour film, they had a script where they had a beginning and an end, and they went from there to there, and then they didn't have smoke monsters and polar bears in between, then you'd have a really interesting and good film. I want the same cast back again.
Wow, you're asking a lot there, but it's almost like
I don't think Matthew Fox is doing much.
No, it's like a redemption. Then you want them to,
yes.
David Lindelof to redeem himself from. It was such an anticlimax, and I'm definitely with you with Lost in terms of that, and 24 are the first serialized
big event TV
programs before it really kicked off.
Yeah, probably led to what I was talking about earlier, where the quality of it just ramped up massively. So,
yep, definitely. That's a good shout. But what I think I really enjoyed was the cliffhangers of Lost, and I'm wondering how you would incorporate that within a movie. So you'd have to think long and hard about that, Matthew.
I think you could just have like different story threads.
Yeah.
And then you leave one at a cliffhanger. You'd be like, fuck, no, don't cut now. I want to see that, man.
I loved the fact that we saw statues, giant-footed statues with 4 toes. I loved the fact you saw a polar bear corpse. I loved the whole brain-computer thing and the comic book stuff. It was frigging amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Massively disappointing.
And I remember as well, because I was a massive geek, I was downloading the podcast as well, and the Lost Initiative with Ian Lee, and it was dissecting each episode, and everyone had their fan theories, and the writers would say, "It's not purgatory. It's not purgatory."
Always, yeah. It was the first theory that was out there. We promised it was not purgatory,
and fucking purgatory, wasn't it?
They obviously just went, we got nothing. What are we going to do? Well, those fans, they did suggest purgatory. We can't do that. We can't. We told them it definitely wasn't purgatory.
They left the island, which was a big mistake, in my opinion. And the Dharma Initiative and everything about the mythology of it all, and the drip feeding of the videos, and everything was...
The lack of music, the lack of intro titles, never seen before. The actual music in it was so emotive, and then pervade then in general society. Like everything after that had the same basic composure of music. Even in computer games and the trailers for things were just so heavily influenced that.
And I know you
go back.
You scoffed at the smoke monster there, but I think that was a fantastic.
I only scoffed in the sense that it was never fully, realised or explained. Or
fair enough.
They just had them on the island and the smoke monster, and then it was all tied up at the end. I'd be happy. Even a trilogy of films, I'd take that.
I'd love to go back and rewatch it, but I can't. I just can't put myself through it again, knowing the disappointment.
You can do it again, Chris. You need to.
Go back.
Do it.
I'm going to watch your film. Okay, good one.
Lost was actually was a replacement for crossed out one, which I put Baywatch on. Series, but I like the film. I want to see a sequel, so I put that one. That's not really one in there. So yeah, that got sort of number 6 or whatever. My next one, number 4, is the IT Crowd.
Oh, this is interesting.
So English people will probably know this. Americans maybe not so much. But the IT Crowd in my line of work and in my age group is just seminal. It's perfect. It's a perfect sitcom about an IT department in the basement of this building, and it's got such brilliant characters. And the problem is that they are such brilliant characters and character actors that they've all gone on and been incredibly successful. So the chances of them making another series of this is fucking impossible. Rich Dayawadi is on everything these days. And he directed his own films. Chris O'Dowd is in lots of Hollywood films. He's not coming back. Matt Berry, he does lots of stuff. I heard that in a new series, they're making a series of What We Do in the Shadows, which is amazing. So that's
the trailer dropped the other day on that.
Looks good. So the only chance of me seeing another episode of the IT Crowd is if they go big budget, make a movie out of it, get those boys back in town. Go to Hollywood, chase Chris O'Dowd down, get him out of fucking Get Shorty, which he's brilliant in, which is weird because he's a tough guy. And have you seen this?
No, I haven't.
Watched it back to back, it would freak you out.
Oh, really? I must check that out then.
Yeah, no, he's great in it. He's really good.
Would we sort of involve some big comedy directors? So, like, maybe Judd Apatow or someone like that to get involved in?
I've got my theory. So it has to have the same writers and some of the same cast, but to try and appeal to the larger market, we've got to get the Americans on board. We can have the company bought out by a large American conglomerate and then transferred to America. So fish out of water.
Yeah, I was just saying Moss, that would work really well for Moss. Yeah.
It would work, and then you could still have Matt Berry come over, and even better, he'd be sort of, trying to get his company back in a sort of Mr. Burnsy type of fashion.
Very good. I like that one too. That's brilliant. Oh God, I do that all the time. I go into my dad's house and go, Father. He hasn't got a clue what I'm doing. Number 4 is pretty good. You're very good at this. This is a good one. But number 3.
Number 3, The Wire. The Wire. Now, this one I couldn't have earned about because I was like, should they make a Wire? Because basically it's just a cop thing. But the reason I wanted to make a film is quite selfish, is that I've never watched The Wire.
Oh, really?
No, I've never watched it. And there's just too many of them. And they're quite old now. So I don't want to watch it all. So I'd like it if they made a film for me.
Selfish bastard.
Little 2-hour films, then I can just get on board with everybody else and talk about how brilliant The Wire is.
Well, Matt, actually, it would work as a trilogy in a way, because you could follow McNulty's, path as he was, his redemption. It's not really a redemption with McNulty. What happens to him? He's kind of an alcoholic. He's not particularly good cop or detective. But I'm on board with that, and that has an amazing cast. So that would be brilliant if they came on back. And they're exactly the same. All the people in the Wire, most of them actually probably you've seen in other big hitting TV stuff or in film. So it's doable.
Lots of English people in there randomly as well, aren't they? Yeah.
Idris Elba, obviously the main one. Brilliant. Yeah, I like that.
I'd like to do that just so that I can pretend I've seen The Wire with everyone else. A lot like Firefly and Serenity. That was something for everyone. That was a good thing. See, because they got the series got canned. They had a story to tell and they wanted to tell it, so they just whacked out a film, which was brilliant. So there you go. There's that one. That was number. What was that?
That's one, number 3.
2, 3. Number 3. Do you want the next one?
Number 2.
Number 2. Spaced.
Oh God.
For very much the same reasons as the IT Crowd, because you're not going to get these people on TV anymore. Simon Pegg's way too big. He's running around doing Mission Impossible films, for fuck's sakes.
Did they not try and do space for like an American market at some point?
They tried to, yeah. No, it was. I mean, the IT Crowd's got a brilliant pilot episode.
Yeah.
In America, which I don't think got aired anywhere. Space, there was lots and lots of talk, but it never ever happened. And everyone was like, "Thank fuck for that." It was so quintessentially English. To make it translate, you'd have had to take it away and make it something else, and you'd have been left with the 5 characters. But again, I want to see this made, and it's selfish of me because the only way you're going to get these people back on the same set is if it's enough money.
Yeah,
tempt them in because they're all super famous. Jessica Stevens, Mark Heap.
Oh.
They're all They're all brilliant.
Would you bring Edgar Wright? Obviously, Edgar Wright would have to come back to direct.
He's got to come back, yeah.
And it could be what would it be set in chronologically? That we'd be rejoining them in their later years.
Yeah. Just bring them back into the later years. Maybe have them fall back on hard times and have to move back in together or something. Nick Frost's character wouldn't have moved on. He'll still be in the flat.
Yeah, he'd still be there with the dog.
With the dog playing paintball. I want to see that made. And my last film that was TV series that I want to see made, Quantum Leap.
Oh.
I can't remember Quantum Leap ending. Did it end? Because I know it got fucking weird. It kind of where's lost and just disappeared up its own arsehole for a
I don't think I watched enough of them to know. So I watched a lot of them, but I mean, it was always something I would seek out and watch because obviously back in the day you could never. I could never record it or find it in time to record it.
People would watch this shit out of order, and it was constantly on.
So, if no one knows the premise of Quantum Leap, explain the story because it's quite an old show.
There's an experiment that goes wrong in the far future. So in the far future, the character Scott Bakula, he's not the character, he's I don't know if he's attempting time travel or something else, but he ends up time traveling, but not in the very simple way that you would imagine. So what happens is his body is still in the future, but his conscience and psyche is actually transported into different bodies. And like a lot of the TV series at the time, he has to help that person so that he can then move on. Hopefully, one point jumping home, so all leaping, as they would call it, the quantum leaping.
It's brilliant, isn't it? Well, it's a great concept for the time of when it was made.
Yeah, and every episode would open, every episode would end and open with the same scene of him finding himself in a new body, looking in the mirror, and going, "Oh boy."
Yeah. He'd be a woman, he'd be an old man, he'd be an old woman.
He has this kind of holographic assistant, Al. Is it Al?
Yes, Al. With Ziggy? Or was Ziggy the name of his little computer?
The little weird, his little
handheld computer.
They're there. They could predict with smartphones.
Yeah.
They knew. We'd all be sat there glued. You'd just punch the buttons really randomly.
And it would make a little noise, wouldn't it? You'd go, ow, ow, ow.
Yeah.
Amazing choice. That's a brilliant shout because that would totally work. Because you could have him jumping into various timelines. They could do it on a decent budget, decent actor. Chris Pratt, maybe, I don't know.
Chris Pratt's on suggested for everything. Chris Pratt or The Rock, maybe.
It would definitely work with The Rock. He would definitely be able to do it. And then you could get, I don't know, Ian McKellen to be his hologram sidekick guy. With his little computer. But yeah, no, that is a fantastic shout, Matthew. That's great. Top 5. I wasn't expecting you to come up with all that.
There you go. I am nothing but surprising.
Yeah.
So you'd watch all those films. Have I got a go on all of them?
The only one I think maybe might be difficult would be Lost, I think. I think it's just too much content in there. But everything else I'm here for in terms of just for great comedy actors coming back together on screen.
There's a lot of selfish shouts in there for me.
Yeah, but that's fine. I mean, that's why a lot of this stuff is made anyway because, it's a 10-year anniversary, 25-year anniversary or whatever. And it wouldn't necessarily have to be a cinematic release. It could be a made-for-TV special. I mean, I'm not saying, we should rule that out. So yeah, Netflix they've got bags of money, haven't they? Netflix, so they could definitely do it. And give Edgar Wright freedom to do whatever he wants with the characters, and wait till it's 25-year anniversary or something because it must be coming up to that. Bob's your uncle. Yeah, fantastic, Matthew. I've got to follow that somehow. So what shall I do now then?
Top 5 recasts. So films that have been made that you would recast as someone else. So for example, instead of Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker in the original Star Wars, you'd have Chris Pratt.
What, recast from an actor from the same time or with any person? Anyone will
Any person. You're like a magical casting agent and you can pull people from any time and place and put them in this film. Right the wrongs of history, Chris.